What is going on, everyone? We are live. Welcome to the SB Fantasy Football Podcast, where we try hard. As always, I'm Alan.
I'm RD. What's up, man? How you doing?
You know what, brother? Just living the dream. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Just living the dream. Trying to make it through another day, another week. How about you?
Eking out wins, man. That's my middle name. Eking out wins. It's funny because either I destroy or I get destroyed. There's very, very few times where it comes down on my favor. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I know. I mentioned this earlier. I put a post out there. Got a text from my cousin. He was like, he hit me up right after the Bengals game or whatever. He's like, yeah, my buddy's playing you this week, and he's like, what the f, blah blah blah, because he's the only one out of everybody that realized all I drafted was Bengals, and so this is like the second time where Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase flew off the handle. So yeah, he was down he was down 120 by the end of the night. Yeah. Welcome to the show, baby.
We got Duncan in the house. So it'll be back in 2 minutes. Well, we'll still be here.
What's up,
Lord willing. You never know. If aliens come and just kind of abduct everybody and take over, then maybe not. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Where do you want to start at? Like, a lot of things are happening in football right now.
Yeah, it was a wild week, to be honest. I mean, even though it was a crazy weekend, more injuries, people are back in action. Just a shift in power and backfields. I don't know what's going on. How many coaches have we had fired this year? Is it just one so far?
Just one so far. Bears just fired their offensive coordinator. Like, that's going to make a difference. Now the offensive line is going to start playing better so that Caleb's not running for his life. So they got that going for him.
They didn't even pick him up off the ground after he got knocked down or whatever. He's like laying there like lifeless. And one of the defensive tackles or whatever for the Patriots picked him up, like tapped him on the head a couple times. Like,
all right, little buddy.
It's just they're tired of him, man. And I get it.
He got sacked. What was it, like 7 times this week? That's not necessarily his fault. Like, your offensive line's at some point in time's got to stop somebody, right? Like,
I mean, we've seen it with Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? Joe Burrow was on his ass
like every play,
and even that they still made it to the Super Bowl somehow. And then in the Super Bowl, he was on his ass after every play. You know what I mean? It was like you knew it was going to happen. And even when they upgraded, if you want to call it an upgrade, that dude got 2 of them, 3 of them got hurt already. You know what I'm saying? So he's back on. He's running for his life back there. Macaulay Culkin back there. Home Alone. He's got Marv. whatever the other guy's name is. All I know is Marv. What's Joe Pesci's name in that movie? God, the sticky. They were the wet bandits. Now they were the sticky bandits. Harry.
That sounds about right.
My team picture was Marv when he gets electrocuted in Home Alone 2. When he puts his hands down on that thing and he starts getting just electrocuted or whatever. I got shocked like that once.
Yeah, it's Harold Harry Lime and Marvin Marv Merchants.
What? I didn't even know they had like last names of the movie. I just thought they went by Harry and Marv.
Yeah, well, that's what they go by, but it is what it is. But yeah, so do you think that does anything for the Bears offense? Is Caleb Williams now all of a sudden fantasy relevant now that they have a new offensive coordinator? Do we need to hurry up and go pick him up off the waiver wires because he's available in 42% of Yahoo leagues right now?
Let me tell you, I said it, I think right here on this podcast a couple weeks ago. I'm like, dude, he's playing against nobody. They're going to eventually start playing against good teams, good defenses, middle of the road, even middle of the pack defenses. And some, they're going to have elite defenses as well. But you're going to find out what this kid's made out of, and that offensive line as well. So it's not just his fault. But I'm not picking him up for anything. They're mad. He's so far down the list. I'd rather have Bo Nix. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have
Bo Nix is a better quarterback right now.
I'd rather have anybody else. I think. I mean, it's
Anthony Richardson. Would you rather take Anthony Richardson's back in the starting role?
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited?
I have to play him this week because all my other quarterbacks are hurt. I drafted Justin Fields. He gave 5 weeks of his life to that Steelers team that didn't give two S's about him because once what's his name came back, Russell Wilson, and then of course Dak. What did he do? Tear his hamstring?
Completely off the
bone?
Off the bone.
And so he's out, and then Goff sucked all year too. Dak wasn't doing much either. So
all year, watch your mouth, you hooker.
In fantasy, you moron. He has sucked.
He still has not sucked. Okay, all right. Well, that's not true.
Is he even in the top 10 anymore? I don't even think he's top 10.
I don't think he's top 10, but
no, that's he's not. But no, he hasn't done what I expected him to do. And then last year, I had Tua and Dak, and I rode that wave all the way to the championship. Right? They were slinging it because they're little short passes. Now they would open up the field and go deep every so often, but Dak just wasn't there this year. Like after he got paid, he's been terrible, and I don't know. But anyhow, and then Tua. Obviously with his concussion, you see him try to tackle that dude with his head after he threw a pick.
Like,
I was like, "What are you doing?"
He's trying to end his own career, right? Like, as a Tua owner, in my dynasty league, I own Tua in one of them. The other one, I dropped him. I went ahead and I dropped him because someone dropped Stafford, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to pick up Stafford," and I had Goff, so I was like, and then Tua came off the IR, and it's like. Who do I get rid of? I was like, I'm going to get rid of Tua at this point in time. Like, I can only carry 2 QBs, and Tua was the odd man out in that little threesome.
Yeah, I'd rather have Tua. I think there's more upside. But then again, he goes diving from somebody's leg and gets knocked out of a game.
Right, because no matter who I drop in that threesome, they're going to get picked up. Yeah. Right? It's a dynasty league. You can only carry 2 QBs. Of those 3, those are all 3 guys anyone will pick up. And it was I had to make a move, and Tua, like I said, you don't know if he's going to go and haul off and try and headbutt somebody for some dumb reason or not. So
he so someone posted their score. He goes, I'm in if a QB tackles someone, they get 100-point lead.
I saw that.
And he goes, I'm not about to lose this week because this moron threw a pick and then went to take someone's legs out with a helmet. That was like the funniest thing ever. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And no, buddy, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
I don't want to be in a league like that, but I think it'd be really fun and it'd just be wheels off, right?
All right, we got our first question coming in.
Pickens.
T or Pickens? T or Pickens? Where are you at?
I mean, is T. Higgins even going to play? He's going to get traded. Like, I doubt he's playing.
Well, you can't get traded now.
It's past the. Oh yeah, past the deadline now. Are you sure? Hold on. When's the actual deadline?
It was last week.
I'm thinking about the fantasy deadline then. Okay, and then that's just like this week or next week or something like that. He's still limited, man. I mean, this is something you shouldn't even really sweat. He was limited in practice today.
Pickens has looked good lately. Like, I mean, this week he had 5 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. 2 weeks ago, 4 for 74, 5 for 111 and a touchdown. I mean, since Russ has come in the lineup, he's been better. So I kind of like Pickens right now.
I mean, he was your number 5 receiver, right? And he's 5 for 91 and 1 touchdown is not terrible. Like, that is what you want week in and week out. And that could be your wide receiver 1 right there. And that's what you'd be happy with, right? So, like I said, it was an off week. Wallace was number 4 and Pearsall was number 6. But, I think Pickens is just, with Russ throwing to him, Russ looks good. And, Pickens is definitely benefiting from, I guess, with Russ actually throwing the ball and throwing it accurate. He looks good out there, man. He goes up and catches it too. He's got some crazy, awesome catches on the sideline or in the end zone. He's looking good, looking real good.
Real good, real good. All right, so he's got Amon-Ra and Tank Dell for Pickens and Nico.
Well, you throw out Tank Dell because it's not like Tank Dell's like a wide receiver 3 at this point, right? Flex material, if that. Amon-Ra, obviously a wide receiver 1. Pickens, wide receiver 1, and Nico's a wide receiver 1. I think I take that deal. If Nico comes back and it's just a shell of what he was. He was wide receiver 1 until he got hurt.
Overall, yeah, he was leading the league in receiving yards before he got hurt. So, and the Texans definitely need him back, right? Yeah. So if you're the one getting Pickens and Nico, yeah, I would go ahead and make that trade for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you're giving up. You're giving up Dell, which he's probably going to take another backseat, but he could. I don't know. I just don't never. I never know what I'm going to get with Dell. But at least with Amon-Ra, he's only had like 2 or 3 off games this week, right? Or this year. It's opening day and then like week 8, week 6 as well. Other than that, he's 18 points to 5 points. That's not terrible. That's good middle of the road action. That's steady hand that you want. But I think Nico was really just knocking it out of the park every single week. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm getting 18 points. He's getting like, oh, I'm 30 points a week. So, and then obviously if you can punch in Pickens there, you've got yourself 50 points a week from your 2 wide receivers in PPR.
Michael says, evening guys, want to bounce my starting lineup. See if you guys agree, or should I change out anyone? All right, we got Goff, Wilson, Walker, Dobbins, Adams, Chase, Puka. What the? That is a nice little threesome right there. Smith at tight end. Benches Winston, London, McConkey, Pitts, White, and Bucky Irving. Oh, so we got Rashid White and Bucky Irving on a bye. Okay. But yeah, I don't think I'm playing Winston. He hasn't really looked like Jameis kind of as of old. Lions have the Jags this week, so I'm not necessarily worried about Goff's performance. He's not going to throw for a ton of yards, but he's probably going to have 2 touchdowns. We're looking at maybe like 200 yards, 2 touchdowns out of him this week. Wilson, I mean, as far as, receivers on your bench, I mean, I don't know that I try and work in. McConkey's been okay here lately, and so is Drake London. But, I mean, you're not benching Chase. We're not benching Puka. Has Adams really done anything since he's joined the Jets?
Nothing of a note. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind London. Is Atlanta on bye week this week?
I'm assuming not, because you knew about.
Yeah, I know Tampa Bay is, because I have Rachaad White.
Oh, they got Denver, which is a tough matchup. So you got Denver, which is a tough matchup. They're third. They give up the third least amount of points to wide receivers, right? 305 game. So I'm not worried about a prime time with Cousins. I think if anything, are we looking at maybe Smith and Pitts? Like, where are you at with Johnny Smith?
He's all right, right? I mean, I'm going Pitts if I have to pick somebody, and he does have oh no, that's somebody else. I'm going to play Pitts. Why not?
I think so. Now they are playing. The Dolphins are playing the Raiders, right? And you've got, like we just said, we got the Falcons are playing the Broncos, but
Broncos look good.
I think you got a higher ceiling. I mean, with Smith, you're going to get 3 to 5 catches for 20 to 40 yards, basically, is what he's been putting up here lately. He's got a couple outliers in there, but he's only got 1 touchdown this year, right? So he's not really a red zone threat. I mean, you've got Waddle, you've got Hill, you got A-Chain, you got Mostert. I think if anything, I'm putting Pitts in for Smith.
Yeah, watch Smith fall in the end zone this week. It's be one of those times. He scores about every other week or something like that. But yeah, I mean, you have to go with the higher caliber player, right? On a, they slumped this week, but Pitt should be back in business this week.
Yeah.
Not a bad lineup. That's a pretty stud lineup.
It's a pretty nice little lineup Michael's got going on. Who'd stream at tight end this week? Jonnu, Taysom, Knox, Gesicki, or Hunter Henry? He has McBride on a bye.
I can make an argument for 3 of these guys, to be honest.
Okay. Who are you arguing for?
I mean, you can do Knox. I think what's his Kincaid got hurt. I don't even know if he'll be playing this week. They might put him on the shelf because they're going to be on bye week next week. So Knox should get more action. Everyone else is banged up. And is Amari Cooper going to play? I think who's the other? The Keon Coleman's hurt too. So Knox should be getting a lot of action. Gesicki, he's been pretty consistent. Now he's blown up, but he's been pretty consistent with at least 10 to 12, maybe 15 points a game. It seems like, and I do like Hunter Henry as well, even though Austin Hooper cut in on his action a little bit this past week. But let me get these.
I mean, he had a high target rate this last week. He had 9 targets and 4 catches for 30 yards. But Gesicki's he's getting the targets. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, I think it's going to be Gesicki. My concern with Knox is you're hoping he takes those targets, right? But it's not like Kincaid's lighting the world on fire, right? Tight ends are just kind of a they get it if they get it type thing over there in Buffalo. They haven't really worked them in like we thought. I mean, Jonnu, when we kind of already talked about him with Taysom Hill, it's boom or bust. He's either going to put up 30 points or 2 points, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those where, hey, do you need, if you're considering playing Taysom Hill, if you need a home run out of your tight end position, right? It's, hey, I'm looking at losing by like 30 points right now with my starting lineup. So I need a Hail Mary. So you throw Taysom in there and you hope you get the Hail Mary with him, right? He's had 2 good weeks this year. Outside of that, he's been pretty much non-existent, right? Hunter Henry's not bad, but you're for me, it's Joe Burrow throwing to Gesicki. I like the quarterback that's throwing to Gesicki versus the quarterback throwing to anybody else. And we've seen Joe Burrow go off for 500 yards several times this year. Who's to say he doesn't do it again, right? Like, for me, it's Gesicki.
And, he had 12 points 3 weeks ago, 29 points the week before, then 7 points this week. So it's like, but the target, if he would have reeled in a couple more of those targets and he might have had a touchdown. I mean, that one game, let's be honest, it was 6. He had 5 receptions for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's what blew up. He hasn't had a touchdown in any other game this season. That's it. But I think he's a boomer bust kind of guy. But I do like him as far as more like even kill because he does get the targets, right? So if he just reels in those targets, you're going to get in double digits. Same thing with Hunter Henry. I like him as well.
Yeah. Elizabeth Bingham is in the house. What's up, fellas? Thinking about playing Tom Brady for my quarterback? I know he's retired, but 0 points is better than what I got for a quarterback.
They were chanting for Romo to come out of the booth in Dallas.
So that was they were talking about that on the ticket. They're like, would Romo have it just going in there cold as can be, raw dog, would have been better than Cooper Rush?
Yes, I think so.
You think so?
I don't know Cooper took care of business last year. Was it last year or year before?
It was 2 years ago, but the team was a lot better 2 years ago too, right? Yeah. Your offense, you actually had a decent offensive line. The offensive line this year is not that good. They had a run game, right? Mm-hmm. They were able to run the game. The defense was really good. Just now they don't have a run game. Their offensive line is in shambles. The Sun is stopping CD from getting touchdowns. Like,
I was pissed. I was like, "Come on, dude! Like, come on, man!" And he
couldn't see the ball.
Did you hear Jerry?
Oh,
they were like, hey, you're gonna make it. Your own player can't see the ball. Are you gonna make the adjustment and put up curtains? He goes, why not? We'll just why not just tear down the whole stadium? I go, yeah, because that's the same. What are you, 6? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the hell's going on?
Are you going to turn it so that you don't have the sun shining in, which was kind of dumb, right? You talk about how we know where the sun's going to be, right? Well, you knew that before you built the stadium, and you could have just turned it, so that you weren't dealing with that. Or the curtains that are already there because they use them for other events, just put them up. Here's what I do. If the next big Micah, he's getting ready to sign a contract. He tells Jerry, I'm not signing unless you put up curtains.
Unless you push the button every single week,
You have to.
It has to be the only stadium that faces east and west. It's the only one. There cannot be another one that does that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I was just waiting for Jerry to start screaming, "Shut up about the sun," as they kept asking about it.
About the sun. Shut up about the sun.
Michael, yeah, they have Denver. I picked up Pitts. I picked him up because Pitts is on the bye next week. Yeah, I'm still going with Pitts, even though they're playing Denver.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Duncan. Thoughts on Amari rest of the season? Do you think he could end up high-end wide receiver number 2? Yeah. He's got to get healthy, right? That's the thing right now is he's just dealing with that wrist injury, and the wrist injury for a wide receiver is big, right? If he gets healthy, yeah, 100% could be a high-end wide receiver number 2. I love the move of him going over to Buffalo and getting over there with Josh Allen, and you're really giving Josh Allen a legit number 1 wide receiver. It's just he's just been banged up since he got over there. But if he gets healthy, oh yeah, him healthy is plug and play. You just put him in there, just sit him in your lineup, and you forget about him.
Sit and forget it, man. I mean, he was like that at the end of last season in
when Flacco came in. Yep.
When Flacco came in Cleveland. So yeah, he could be your wide receiver 1.
Yeah. Brian Thomas Jr. or Jacoby Myers? Where are we at with Myers on his injury?
He's back.
Like, I know he's still playing,
mm-hmm.
right? But he's not doing anything.
He's been out. He's back now. So he's I actually put him in my lineup this week in a league. I was like, yep, you're getting in there. Scored 17.2 points against Kansas City, 18.5 against Cincy. On a bye week, week 10, back now. They go down to Miami. And I think there's a couple injuries down there or over there in Vegas to where now he's, I mean, he should see the rock. Ever since Devontae Adams left, he's the guy, right? Yeah. As long as he's healthy, that is. As long as he's healthy. I mean, you get 11 targets, 8 receptions, 105 yards before the bye week, and then 6 catches on 52 yards and a touchdown a week before. So, yeah, when he's healthy, he's tough.
He's fully healthy. There's no injury concerns with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Brian Thomas Jr., but also now you're dealing with who's playing quarterback there.
I was about to say who's quarterbacking down there in Jacksonville. And I tell you what, if you can't name him, I'm not even in on Brian Thomas. I can't. And he got 3 points this past week. Had 6 points the week before. He's good when Trevor.
It's Mac Jones. It's Mac Jones. Yeah, and we already know Trevor Lawrence is out this week.
Mm-hmm.
They're going up against Detroit, which Zadarius Smith is going to be playing this week. Look for a big pass rush from them. Yeah, I mean, you got to have Trevor Lawrence back, I think, in order to consider playing Brian Thomas Jr. And I think until Trevor Lawrence comes back, you're 100% going Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, Mac Jones completed 14 of 22 passes for 111 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
There we go.
They're going to roll him back out there against Detroit, though. Their season's over. Just start tanking.
As always, Michael, thank you. And yeah, don't forget to hit that like button. He might not play. He might play. We talking about Kincaid might play? Romo? Who are we talking about?
Oh, he's in Romo.
What do you think about CD? Here's the problem with CD. He had 6 catches, but for like 30 yards.
Yeah. He should have had a touchdown, but that's just.
He should have, right? And I kind of talked about it Saturday night. I wasn't. Before this week, I really wasn't concerned about CD going forward because we've seen CD still put up numbers with Cooper Rush in there. They're just not even trying to throw the ball downfield, though. Like, they're just. I think there were several times where they're looking at 3rd and long and they're throwing the ball. One time they threw it to CD behind the line of scrimmage. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're not even. You've got one of the best wide receivers in the league. Get him out there and throw the ball up and let him do what he does.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I almost sent a trade over to get rid of him. It was like a package deal, and I was targeting Nico Collins because I was actually offered Nico for CD earlier in the year, and I was like, nah, man, I drafted him. Let me go ahead and just see what happens. And then now it's like, yeah, no, I mean, I don't. He's my wide receiver 3, I guess. At this point, he's going to give me maybe 10 points a game if I'm lucky.
Well, if you're in your PPR, he's going to have a decent amount of receptions. It's just I don't know if the yards are going to be there, and then you got to hope for a touchdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we got Parico. Pick 2 wide receivers this week: Amari, Brian Thomas Jr., Waddle, and Judy. Well,
any that aren't hurt.
we don't like Brian Thomas with Mac Jones in, and that's 100% the case this week. So I'm not going Brian Thomas. I'm gonna what do we got going on with Cooper? Not Cooper Kupp. I don't want Cooper Kupp.
I did like Jerry Jeudy getting some action. I was pretty happy about that. But yeah, dude, I don't know.
I mean, he's still limited in practice. I don't know if he's going to end up playing. Like, we got to see what happens. If Amari's playing, I like Amari. Waddle has just been non-existent here lately. I don't know what's going on with him.
He's getting some action, but it's usually like garbage time or something has gone wrong. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, he hasn't cracked 10 fantasy points since week 1. He's 8, 7, 8, 2, whatever. I mean, give me Jerry Jeudy at this point because at least Jerry's getting some action.
I mean, 2 weeks ago he had 2 catches for -4 yards.
Yeah, that was a funny week. Yeah, the negative yards and a touchdown. I mean, you look at week 9 with Jerry Jeudy, right, against LA. He had 11 targets. He reeled in 7 for 73. Week before that, 8 targets, 5. He went 5 for 79. So he's getting the action, and there'll be a little bit more chemistry, obviously, with Winston. Still, he's going to take him the rest of the way this season. So I do like Jerry Jeudy, and if I'm in your situation, I'm hoping for Amari Cooper to get healthy because I'd hate to be between Waddle and Brian Thomas, especially with Mac Jones under center. I'd almost have to flip a coin at that point. I mean, you would think that Brian Thomas would get some action, but he scored like 3 points last week. So it's tough sledding. I feel the pain though. I feel the pain.
He's still dealing with a chest injury too, and so he's not getting any practice time in. So he's not able to get in any reps with Mac Jones, which is big when you're dealing with a quarterback that you haven't dealt with, right? There's timing that you need to get down, and with him not practicing, he can't get any of that timing down. Not to mention Mac Jones just isn't good. Like, let's just go ahead and just throw that out there. Mac Jones sucks. So he's got that going for him, which is nice, I guess. But I mean, if Amari's not playing, I guess I kind of want to go Waddle just because they're playing Vegas. So
I mean, that'd have to be what I go with. I mean, because obviously, if Amari's hurt and then Brian Thomas is hurt, you got to go Waddle. But I think Jeudy out of this group is a definite, and then you work your way back to see if Amari's healthy or not, and then you kind of pivot to Waddle. I think that's what you got to do there.
Yeah.
Tough stuff.
What do you think about Estime?
Starting running back out there in Broncos, right?
I don't know if he's necessarily the starter, but he's getting the big workload. I mean, he had 14 carries for 53 yards. Again, you're going up against Kansas City, which is the best team in the league against the run. Doesn't get any easier this week against Atlanta. They're one of the better teams against the run. He's got a lot of tough matchups. I mean, you're really looking at 2 matchups that are kind of favorable. You got Vegas in a couple weeks. And then in week 15, you've got the Colts. But outside of that, you're dealing with all tough matchups against the run. Cleveland's good against the run. The Chargers are the number 2 team in the league against the run. And then Cincy doesn't give up the run. Their defense sucks, but they don't give up a lot of points to running backs. So kind of going forward, I'm not excited about them.
Yeah. Sean Payton said he was encouraged. Is that the word he used with his? He had 14 carries. Williams had 1. I don't even know. Did McLaughlin get anything? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if McLaughlin got any touches or not. Williams only got 1, and then Estimate got them all. So I think they like the kid, man. They're gonna let it go and see what happens. But it's like one of those things where it's like you're gonna play him, and then he's gonna not get 1 touch this week.
Right.
You've seen it a million times.
The Busby's in the house. What is going on, sir?
My man. What's going on, buddy?
But yeah, I mean, I like Estime. I just don't like him going forward in fantasy because he's got a lot of tough matchups. And you're still kind of unsure about that whole Denver running game too. Like, Sean Payton will switch up a running back on you really fast. He's done it several times this year. So
It goes all the way back to when he was with the Saints. You know what I mean? He hates he is a fantasy football killer.
I mean, until he got Kamara. Yeah, the Kamara and Ingram matchup worked out pretty good. But outside of
you don't
that,
know who to play then. Like one week, it'd be like Ingram or falling in the end zone 3 times, or Kamara would get you 3 touchdowns. But it was, buddy. I remember being at like WinStar and I almost like threw a bottle of beer across the bar because I think I had Kamara and I saw Ingram coming. And I go, "You got to be," and I was reared back and almost chunked it. I was like, "God, I got to
come." Is a good keeper for next season. Yeah, I like estimating next season. Like if you're in a keeper league, Darren Sproles was always a good. Yeah, I love Darren Sproles. That guy was.
Dylan picked him up in Dynasty, not Darren Sproles, but the estimate. So yeah, he's all excited. Yeah. I think that was him. But yeah, it's great to have him in. It's not a keeper league; it's a Dynasty league. That's great.
Yeah, but like I said, going forward for this season, I mean, have him. Like if you've got the spot on the roster for him, sure, go ahead and pick him up and let's just kind of see what he does. And like that matchup we got in week, I think what I say 16, where they're playing Vegas. Yeah, that's a nice matchup to play him in, right? I'm sorry, that's week 12. Week 12. No, week 16, you don't want to play them. They're playing the Chargers. Week 15 against the Colts, though. So you got a couple times where you might plug him in there, depending on what you got going forward. I know we still do have a few bye weeks coming up. Maybe he's a guy that you throw in there to fill in for a bye week, but to me, he's a low end RB with some possibilities. But yeah.
Dude, I'm so annoyed. Like some of these, like how can you still have bye weeks this deep in the season? Like, this week, so your bye weeks are the Cardinals, Panthers, Giants, and Bucks. Next week, Falcons, Bills, Bengals, Jaguars, Saints, and Jets.
Holy crap. How many teams is that?
That's 6. And then no one's on a bye week 13. And then you got 6 more teams on bye week 14. Ravens, Broncos, Texans, Colts, Patriots, Commanders.
Why don't you split that up a little bit?
I mean, come on. At week 9, you had the Steelers and Niners. Week 7, you had Bears and Cowboys. You think you could just, I don't know, just somehow level it out a little bit? Jeez. That is depressing.
Oh, Busby. Sorry. We don't have any order, Busby. Our order is whatever questions pop up. And then when we don't have questions, we just kind of ramble on.
Yeah.
Would you rather
shut it
Johnston down or Ladd McConkey in Dynasty?
Alan, re-ask that question one more time because I talked over it. I bleeped out half of what you said. Go ahead and ask the question one more time.
Would you rather have Quentin Johnston or Ladd McConkey in Dynasty?
I mean, come on, buddy. It's Ladd McConkey.
Yeah. I was hoping that's what you were going to say.
Yeah. It's the rebirth of the little slot receiver running around. It's Edelman. It's what's the other guy? Welker.
Any wide receiver during Tom's Brady playing career?
Amendola, you know what I mean? Who was the guy that was actually playing for the Chargers back in the day? Was that Welker? No, he played for I can't remember.
Welker was with the Dolphins, I think.
I don't know if that's right. But yeah, so my dad thought these 2 dudes were the same guy. I can see their faces or whatever. But yeah, my dad was like, "It's the same dude. That's the same guy." They're both 5'7", and in the slot, they play on 2 different teams, and they never play against each other either. So not Tim Dwight, but yeah, I think I just have to do McConkey, to be honest, and especially in Dynasty. Quentin Johnston's actually a really good person to have as well because he's still really young. He's a big dude, and he gets his feet under him. He stops tipping the ball and knocking the ball down. He starts getting some good catches, working on his hands. Buddy, if Herbert's on fire, it's going to be a team that's going to be real tough to beat.
And the thing for me is it's McConkey. The targets are always there. He's getting you 4+ targets every week. With Johnston, there's a few weeks where he's just got 2 targets, right? And sometimes he does something with those 2 targets, but it's just the target. McConkey's the guy they drafted for the future. That's the guy Harbaugh drafted. Johnston was already there. He's just been kind of meh. Yeah, he'll bust out every once in a while and have a good game, but to me, McConkey is the wide receiver number 1 of the future for that team. That's the guy I want stock in. If I only get stock in one of those guys, I'm taking McConkey.
Yeah.
So that's why they're so good, right? How's it going? Got a start, sir? Question on start 3 in PPR. D-Hop, Tyreek, Terry, Mooney, Jaden Reed, Amari Cooper, and DK. Okay, we're not considering Amari because he's banged up. We don't know if he's going to play or not. If he does play, when you got all these guys that are healthy, I'm not considering the guy that's banged up. And I talk about this week in and week out. When I have healthy guys going into a matchup versus guys that are banged up and we don't know what's going to happen, they're not practicing all week, taking the healthy guys every week. Speaking of healthy, is DK even healthy right now?
I don't know. I probably could have looked that up while you were rambling on. He's fine. He's healthy.
Is he? Okay.
He's full participant Wednesday.
Okay. All right. I know he's been missing some time. Yeah, he's completely off the thing. They're playing San Francisco, which San Francisco is just not that great. He hasn't played the last 2 weeks coming out of the bye. Looks like he should be good to go. I kind of like Metcalf. What else are we looking at here? Did D-Hop do anything this week?
Yeah. He had a pretty good week again. Hold on, let me double check because I saw him on the TV a lot.
He had 4 for 56.
He came back down to
targets. Yeah. But you've got some tough matchups coming up with him, especially this week. Buffalo doesn't give up a ton of points to wide receivers. Even Carolina's not bad against wide receivers. Vegas, Chargers. I mean, you got some tough matchups this week. Another tough matchup against Buffalo. Tyreek. I mean, they're playing Vegas, right?
If you have Tyreek Hill, you have to start him at this point with Tua being back. As long as Tua's playing. Now he does have like an issue with his hand.
You got to make sure he's playing. He's not practicing. He's dealing with a wrist injury. Mm-hmm. But I think it's been kind of ongoing. And he's been playing, right? He hasn't had any setbacks really. It's just he's taken the week off. 3 catches for 16 yards and a touchdown.
He finally got that was he hadn't had a touchdown since week 1, and he's only been getting you 13 points, 12 points, 11 points. I'm still waiting for the upside because I know he's got it. And Tua, like I said, if Tua healthy, then I'm in. But he is hurt. It's all kind of goes back. He blames it on the when he got mouthy with the cop, got yanked out of the car, and they cuffed his ass a little rough. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, I'm assuming Terry is Terry McLaurin, which I like. I like Terry McLaurin. Mm-hmm. I'm playing Terry McLaurin. DK. How do we feel about Mooney this week? Tough matchup.
He gets you double digits the last 3 weeks, 18, 19, and 14 points. They're playing Denver. Now, yeah, they did play. Look, they had a tough matchup. Well, Tampa Bay is no slouch, but they played Dallas. Then they went to New Orleans, But, I mean, he's getting 9, 10 targets. I can handle that. I think I can. Even against a tougher team like, say, Kansas City in week 3, he had 8 catches for 66 yards. He caught all of his targets, all his catches. So I think if I'm looking at this, I think I'm definitely doing Terry. I'm definitely doing DK. And then it's going to come down to how I feel about, is Tua healthy? Is Tyreek healthy? Maybe Mooney, I think. I think I'm going to lean towards Mooney on this one.
What are your feelings on Jaden Reed, though?
I'm a fan of his. And I'm not saying he's boom or bust, but he's had some down weeks, right?
But he's also, the last couple weeks, you're dealing with Jordan Love dealing with that injury, right? And he's got the bye week. They are playing the Bears. Mm-hmm. Bears are good. Their defense is good, right? Jordan's been a full participant in practice this week.
He's got no designation on him for that growing injury that he had. And when he's healthy, he's putting up 42, 22, 38, 25 points. And then Jaden Reed is an absolute beneficiary of that, benefactor of
that. Duncan, nobody likes the Packers, okay? We discussed this on Saturday, brother. All right.
I like the Packers.
With all due respect, the Packers suck. I think I want to go Terry and DK for sure. I'm kind of leaning Tyreek.
It comes down to Tyreek, Mooney, or
Reed. He's got the best matchup, right? And at some point in time, he's got to bust out again, right? He just has to. He's too good of a player to not have a big week. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I want to go Tyreek, I want to go Terry, and I want to go DK. That's where I'm falling. Now, will I change my mind come Saturday? Maybe. We'll see.
Tune in Saturday night when he goes live. He'll tell you something else.
Daniel, hi, new subscriber. Thank you very much, Daniel. We appreciate it. I was offered Swift for Mixon. Couldn't help but laugh internally.
I would have laughed out loud.
Yeah. I want to counter. Would a trade Mixon and CD? Okay, so he's got Mixon. So he'd be trading away Mixon and CD for AJ Brown, Pickens, and Swift makes sense. He has James Conner and Nick Chubb. Because that's my other question. If you're getting rid of Mixon, you're getting Swift. Swift hasn't looked good lately. The Bears haven't looked good. The new offensive coordinator, I'm really nervous about that situation. I don't know that I want to get rid of Mixon because Mixon's played good. Now, if you could get AJ Brown and Pickens, I mean, I kind of like both those guys.
Yeah, I mean, you're trading away a name in CD Lamb that's I don't think anybody really wants CD like right now unless they just believe there's somehow he's going to have a great rest of the season. Mixon is a stud right this year. AJ Brown, obviously, he's AJ Brown. Pickens has had a great year as well. Swift is kind of, he's just like Alan said. The offensive line is absolute garbage, and we talked about how they did really good against bad teams. Well, they're all out of bad teams. You know what I mean? The second half of their season, they set up their first half of the season like just a nice little walk in the park for Caleb.
And they struggled.
Yeah,
they struggled in that.
But yeah, I mean, I like AJ Brown and Pickens. But I like Mixon, to be honest with you. I don't know if I would trade, unless you just want to pick up. But if you need another receiver, that'd be the only reason why I would do it because you're getting two good receivers, but you're giving up Mixon.
But and then I'm nervous about your running back situation going forward with Swift, Connor, and Chubb.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I'm legit nervous about that little threesome there. Because you don't really have a guy that you can really count on week in, week out. Nick Chubb's not that guy right now. Can he become that guy? Yeah, he can. But he's coming off a huge injury. That's the thing. Coming off the big injury, he hasn't outside of, that week 7, he got you a touchdown, but he still didn't even get you 10 points. 11 carries for 22 yards, 16 for 52, 15 for 39. Now they are all tough matchups, but it didn't used to matter what the matchup was with Nick Chubb, right? You played him no matter what the matchup was because he was going to get his. He's not that same guy. He's just not. So, I mean, if you're really excited about, hey, if I can really improve my wide receiver, if you're PPR, maybe that makes a little bit more sense because that really sets you up nicely for your wide receivers and getting the receptions in that. But I think it hurts your running back room. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you're struggling at receiver, then you might need to make this move because you lock in two potential wide receiver ones. I said it earlier. You know what? AJ Brown's obviously a wide receiver one, and so is Pickens is in that level now.
Yeah, 100%. Duncan. After we win it all this year, I will tell you.
Okay.
It's not happening.
I had them going to the Super Bowl, I think, in the earlier shows and whatnot, the other earlier streams. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But that's
he's not. He's only with you because he just wants to see me suffer.
Well, no, now I've changed it to I think Detroit because listen. We talked about this on Strikeout Beer. We've talked about this on here as well. The NFC is incredibly soft right now, so it's kind of anybody's game. So whoever wants to step up and take it, any team, like out of like 4 teams. I mean, and I said that Detroit, this is their year. If you don't get it this year, then what's going to be the excuse, right? Because this is the easiest path to get there. But then, will San Francisco turn it around? They were kind of in the same boat they were last year, right at this same exact moment, right? And I do like Green Bay. I like Jordan Love, and I like, dude, when they're on fire, they're fun to watch too. And I did enjoy when they handed the Cowboys their ass in Arlington last year. I think I was the only one like going ape ass, and we were at some birthday party, and I'm like just sitting there, just giddy. It's just like, so, but yeah, no, it's the Lions' year to do it. At least get to the Super Bowl. But yeah, I mean, it's the easiest. I mean, dude, the Packers or the Lions. I think both teams have a really good shot.
Yeah. Oh man. So let's get into perfect lineups. Let's jump into that.
Yeah. So I post all this stuff on S Shorts. If you're ever wondering where we're getting this from or whatever, if you just want to see it and not hear it, I usually just put it on the screen, but we're not doing that tonight. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you can see the video of this on YouTube. Go check it out. Now, your perfect lineup this week, I don't think it's really a shocker to anybody. You've got Joe Burrow, quarterback, 33.72 points. Bijan Robinson finally, had himself a nice little game, 29.4. Then, of course, Chuba Hubbard, 24.9. I put him on my bench too. I was like, I'm kind of overstocked on running backs, right? And I kind of thought they're going to put bring in the kid or something or whatever. And
well, they just paid Chuba though too, right?
That contract was really nice. And I don't know about Bryce Young, but Bryce Young looked okay. But anyways, 24.9 points. Ja'Marr Chase 54 or 55.4. MVS got him 25.9. Travis Kelce is back, 20.4 points. Calvin Ridley 25.4, and then Cardi, the Rams kicker, 19. Then to finish that up, you got the Eagles at 20 points. So this perfect lineup would have got you 254.12 points.
That's it.
That's crazy. Now it isn't as high as we've had in the past.
No, we've had some absurd ones.
We've in the perfect lineup and whatnot, but this is Burrow he keeps popping up in these things along with Ja'Marr Chase, but some of these scores, and if you got chased this week, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? It happens, and everybody was complaining about it. And like I mentioned before, I was like, I had Burrow, Chase Brown, and Ja'Marr Chase, so I just lit the whole. I was like, man, I'll see you. I lit me a cigar and just kind of kick back. I ate the loss though. I took the loss on the chin. I expected them to go for 2, and I was glad they went for 2. They just lost, but anyways, imperfect lineup. This is kind of hard to hear, kind of hard to listen to. You're Aaron Rodgers, 4.04 points. Jordan Mason, 0.5, which I don't know why he's on this, because he's not a starter anymore. CMC is back, and I guess they thought maybe some slight chance in hell he was going to get the ball, but he didn't get it.
Well, but you didn't know what kind of a workload CMC was going to get. I actually didn't have him getting as big of a workload as he got, because he hasn't played football all year, and he's dealing with that tendon. And I mean, and he honestly, he didn't look that great. Like he got you a decent amount of points. He got you 13 points in your half-point PPR leagues over on Yahoo, because he had 6 catches for 68 yards, but he had 13 rushes for 39 yards. And to me, this is just screaming Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
I've been talking about it. Todd Gurley dealt with the arthritis of the knees. CMC is dealing with the arthritis in the Achilles, and it ended Gurley's career. And
he just showed up one season. He was like, "I'm done. I'm retiring."
Yeah.
It was just like, "Oh, okay, all right, man. Like, cool." But
he tried, but he just wasn't the same.
Yeah. Javonte Williams, 2.7 points, which was estimate is the number one picked up player in all fantasy. Deontay Johnson, 1.6. He's done. I mean, they got like 85 receivers out there in Baltimore. They keep saying we're going to get him more involved. Shut up. No, you're not.
They're going to, but here's the thing. It's going to be a crapshoot as to who's going to get the ball from week in and week out, because you're just dealing with a crowded wide receiver room.
Yeah.
That's all there's to it.
No idea why he's there. Xavier Worthy, 2.1 points. Hunter Henry, bombed this week, 2.4 points. Brian Thomas Jr., 3.2 points. Tucker, 3.0. That's just terrible for Tucker. And then the Cincinnati Bengals defense, -4 points. This terrible lineup gives you 15.54 fantasy points and that's not going to get it done.
And here's the crazy thing, because you're looking at that and you're like, okay, Aaron Rodgers was the worst quarterback in fantasy. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions and was still better than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Like, Rodgers sucked so bad. Like, it's just insane.
He's just so bad. Like, that's just all there is to it. Aaron Rodgers is, but I talked about it. I talked about it this year and I talked about it last year. I didn't think we were going to get anything out of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, to me, I'm actually surprised he's rostered in 46% of leagues in Yahoo right now, because
it's all name, man. It's all name. That's why.
Like, I don't get it. He's just not good at football anymore. Like, that's just all there is to it.
Hold on. Let me go back to I want to see how far down on the list he was and if like some backup had more points. I had to scroll past the first 25. Yeah, he was awful. God, Caleb Williams had more points and he had 7.5. Darnold had 8.85. Oh God.
I mean, if I had to start one, I might start Caleb over Rodgers. Like, and you know my feelings about Caleb and the Bears. Like,
Mac Jones outscored him. He had 6.35 points. Taysom Hill had 7. Trey Lance, a cool 0.75. He was less than 5 points away than Aaron Rodgers this week.
And he played all of like 5 snaps.
That's it.
Like,
oh God.
You're just not playing them. Just like I talked about on Saturday. We're not playing Pat Mahomes anymore. Like,
you are if you're in like a super flex league or deep league, you're playing him. But yeah, if you're in a normal like 12-team league, you're not playing him. Why would you?
No, you're not, because I mean, Trevor Lawrence has scored more points than him, and he didn't even play this last week.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and Trevor Lawrence has been bad.
I will say this: he did
he's
get
barely outscoring Aaron Rodgers this year.
Yeah,
he's barely outscored Rodgers.
The last couple games, you know, Mahomes put up 33 against Tampa Bay. He only put up 21 against Denver, but 25 against Las Vegas. You know, it's just, I guess he doesn't need to do it. You know what I mean? Unless it's a game where they're slinging it. You know what I mean? But yeah, for some reason, he had to step up against Vegas. Vegas scored 20 points on him. You know, and in Tampa Bay, obviously, that was a great game. That was a fun game. Tampa Bay, I'm pulling for Baker. I am. I mean, every time Baker hits the field, I'm like, I'm in. So
he's just so fun. Like, he's just a fun guy. That's all there is to it, Baker. I love him. Hopefully we got him for years and years to come, because he's a great competitor. Just fun. I mean, look at what he's doing without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin right now. He's still producing week in and week out without a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure in Mike Evans, right? And then Chris Godwin's pretty darn good too.
Yep. So, well, let's get out of here.
Yeah. But if you guys got any other questions, now's the time to speak, or forever hold your peace. I'll be back Saturday night. Unsure of time. We do got a tournament this Saturday, so we'll see what time I'm able to get live. I'll try and keep you guys updated if there's a possibility. We have a late game and I get on later, but I'll let you guys know. Please post some trade proposals. We post them when they get sent to us. Like, I'll say this, guys, if you ever have any crazy trade proposals sent to you, you can shoot us over an email, strikeoutbeer@gmail.com, or you can send us a message. What's our, we just started up an Instagram page. Can you throw that in the chat there? So if you guys could just do us a favor.
Maybe, I don't know.
Drop a like on the Instagram. And you can send us messages there. Shoot us over a screenshot if you can. Would you do Amon-Ra for AJ Brown? I have Hurts. Okay, that's an interesting one.
Nice little stack.
Like, I think that would be the reason why, would just be because of the stack. But I don't know. I don't know that I do. And part of my reasoning is AJ Brown gets hurt a lot, and Amon-Ra just doesn't. Right.
That's tough.
And I trust Goff more than I do Hurts, quarterback wise. I like Goff as a quarterback better than I do Hurts. I know he's going to give him the ball. We know that's going to happen. I don't know that I do, but that's a tough. Like the only reason why you would want to do it would be because of the stack, but then you've really got to have some faith in Jalen Hurts. And to me, that's kind of the difference there with that. I just believe in Jared Goff more than I do Jalen Hurts, and for that reason, I like Amon-Ra better. And plus, again, the injury situation. AJ Brown gets hurt a lot.
Yeah, and I think they have a similar upside, anyways, like on a week in, week out basis.
Right.
So if you're throwing out the injuries and you're like, or you're considering the injuries, yeah, you have to go with the guy that's suiting up every week. You know what I mean? Otherwise, if their upside is almost the same, 20, 25 points a game, and one of them plays, twice as much or 30% more than the other guy, give me the guy that's going to show up every week.
Yeah. I don't know that I would do that. The stack's nice, but I just don't trust Jalen Hurts though, too. So, because if he does last year what he did, if he does this year what he did last year at the end of the season, he's unplayable towards the end of the season, right? So,
yeah. There's our 2 links. One is Instagram. It just got I had one before, or we had one before, and I decided to just trash it because I couldn't get it to connect to the actual Facebook page. And so, but you're not missing, as far as lives are going to be here on YouTube. Maybe one day we'll incorporate Instagram or Facebook on that. But yeah, so there you go. There's going to be reels, and we do, put some other posts, share some things over there. But yeah, if you want to know any start sit questions, you have trade proposals, stuff like that, you can message either one of these pages or send us an email. And if you want it, us do a little short on it or something like that, do a quick video, just let us know and we'll do it and give you an actual response and be able to see our faces,
And I always throw out there Saturday night, Sunday morning, I always throw a short out there on YouTube saying, hey guys, this is your official last minute start sit post for you guys to post your start sit questions on there as well. So, but thank you guys so much. We definitely appreciate you. Duncan, as always, it's been fun. Little bro, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. Niall, I know you were in here. Michael, I'm sure you're lurking back here somewhere. Everyone who came in, we appreciate you guys. As always, I'm Alan.
I'm RD.
Talk to you guys later. Deuces.